Welcome back to House Education, April 2nd. We are closing in on our vote on our committee bill. We're going to move along with alacrity because the goal is that we can be done here. It will go to final editing and then be introduced on the floor so it can continue its journey to Ways and Means and to appropriations. So I guess I would ask if there's anything Legislative Council would like to point out to us, and then I would ask the committee if there's anything they would like to ask Legislative Council.
Beth St. James, Office of Legislative Council. I'm just having some trouble logging into Zoom. One thing I did want to just make sure that I understand correctly is, and I can show you the places as soon as I get in that I made changes.
I guess, folks, if you would like to go down to the list, let's make sure that.
We're on draft 10.1.
So that was.
You go ahead. You go ahead, Beth.
It is. So the big change of moving Orleans southwest, I did that, right? But I just wanna,
Page 8. That's what it is.
on the map, hold on. I'm pulling up the map that you had. Made of the overlay. So this is Orleans Southwest.
Yep.
And so that was a part of a different district, and now you want it to be a part of this district, correct?
That group, yeah.
Okay.
Wait, sorry, I have a question about that.
Yeah.
You want it to be part of that CISA, but were we recommending that?
That's my question.
Be in a different district? I don't think we're recommending they be in a different district.
I thought that's what was discussed yesterday.
My understanding yesterday, after we were moving a lot of stuff around, we said we're gonna just honor the lines of the CISAs and honor the lines of supervisory district and let the local decisions with the facilitators jump across the lines. So that's why we moved Cal Co-op back into the burnt orange area instead of the blue, and why we were gonna move that in with the brown.
It was all part of the philosophy of respecting supervisory union lines.
And then the facilitator, when they get together, they may decide they need to go across that CISA line to have the study group and make that change at their level. I understood that.
So you're saying that,
Well, yes, that is. Yeah, right.
that out of the, you have the brown and to the right of it's those 6 blue. That's supposed to be part of the brown.
Yes.
I believe so.
Part of
Yeah.
the Brown CISA, not part of the Brown district.
Yes, part of the district.
Well, yes, this is one of the ones where we were saying, let me just group it. Let's remember what our philosophy was when we were making these lines. We were respecting SU lines and trying to respect where those SUs were located within the CSEP. Always reminding ourselves that once a facilitator is on the ground, trying to pull together groupings, the map is guidance only, and that if there is a better group to work together, they have the ability to make that happen.
Right, no, I understand that, but I feel like we're maybe interchangeably using the words CISA and district and group right now in ways that we didn't intend to. So the blue, what is it shaped like? The blue axe, like a tomahawk, let's say that, okay.
Yeah,
This blue tomahawk is in the brown and purple CISA, but we're not necessarily suggesting that as consolidations take place that they have to join the brown district. You're nodding your head that we are, or
You're not saying.
well, no. We are, what we are saying is that that when the local facilitator gets on the ground, that they may find, it will show up in the groupings
right,
of recommended merger study committees.
yeah.
It will show up as all brown. the reason and this is one where it's, there's a number of spots here where it is going to require on the facilitator's part a meeting of the folks to say, this is not the right groupings, and that it needs to be adjusted this way. And we have made clear in our language that they have the ability to pivot as needed.
Okay, because I thought that we had said that the district we were recommending was actually going to be District 13 for that.
I would say that we had, yes, and that's why the coloring looks that way.
Okay, right.
But the coloring will change because we are trying to respect CSET and SU lines in the beginning, so it'd be easier to explain. So in other words, it's not mandating a merger study committee until a facilitator has gone in there and talked with everybody about whether that group is correct or should be adjusted.
Layers are super confusing.
It is. And this one in particular, because we've sort of gone back and forth about who actually wants to get together with who. So anyway, continue right along.
So we made the change to in the TLC. This is a new draft, so we're on page 7. The Wyndham Southwest Supervisory Union now, I hope,
It is.
has the right okay, yes, so we've made that change. Okay.
You did.
And then I guess we jump right into section 14. Page 32.
Before you move on,
Mhm.
you left out Summers.
Oh, I probably did because it's not listed in the Vermont Education Directory.
Because there was only one student the last time, and that's probably why, who knows?
Okay.
But
I will make that change, and if it doesn't get made, then Ways and Means can make it. Take it. The bill is being
Sorry.
formatted for introduction right now.
wanted to make sure all the towns that SU were named. This is-
And Somerset is part of what supervisory union?
Wyndham Southwest Supervisory Union, the same one you just made changes to.
I made the change to group 12. I pulled out the Orleans Orleans Southwest, and added them to group 16. And then I removed the errant Twinfield Unified School District from group 21. And those are the only changes I had. Does that track?
That tracks for me
Okay.
here. That you added in just who the quarterly reports go to, I see.
Yep. Page, the quarterly reports are going to the money committees, the appropriates committees, the education committees. And then I had to do some really awkward drafting on page 18 in your contingency sections.
Page 18.
Sorry, 39, section 18. We're trying to refer to the bill you are working in, but we are amending language that lives in another bill, so we can't refer to this bill. So I had to describe it. This is what we do when we're referring to the budget. So pursuant to legislation enacted by the General Assembly in 2026 that requires each school board to participate on a study committee to study the advisability of forming a unified union school district. That should signal that you are talking about this bill. And I made the same change, the corresponding change in subsection G of section 18, and no other changes.
Right, everybody? Are people feeling prepared for the vote? Yes.
So I'm gonna make draft 10.2, so there's no confusion. And I will add Somerset.
Okay.
So when you take the vote.
We'll draft 10.2.
I'm just gonna put the caveat that for some reason I can't find Somerset listed for anywhere.
I know, that's why.
I mean, I went online to Google it just now and I found somebody saying it was Wyndham Central and it's not Wyndham Central. It never has been so just look at it and try to, I don't know, you'll find it better than
I'm
me.
gonna rely on the good people of YouTube to email you all.
That's a great idea.
Thank you. I just reminded the committee that this has two other stops. So if there are little technical things that we find out, they can be corrected at that stage along the way. Josh.
I just want to say before we vote that the last week or so, I feel like we've collaborated and worked together better than on this than we have all year. I kind of wish that we would have had this kind of collaboration in January. I know we all do. And for me, there are misses in this. Like, I feel like we're not actually providing the relief that our taxpayers want in a timely fashion. And, they also asked for, more equitable educational opportunities. And I don't see this doing that in a timely fashion either. And those are just some of my concerns, but I do want to say thank you all for what was a noticeable collaboration over the last week that I don't feel that I've seen so far this year. So thank you all.
Yeah. Thank you. Before we vote, I would just echo a fair bit of that. And just to say, I just looked at my own journey and evolution through this. If you remember, I put on the table a map with forced mergers. Depending on how you want to interpret what that meant, didn't really get a lot of love, which was the point was to put on the table and have us talk about it. But I'd say sort of thinking about the thousands of survey responses that we received from the Commission on Future Public Education, many emails we've received since then, the comments from testimony that we have had, but more importantly, the input from everybody here. My feelings and thoughts have evolved, and fears of what the future would hold under various scenarios. And so, I think you can all take some ownership in many of the changes that we moved along here, whether you vote yes or you vote no. And I do as well, really appreciate that. So, I feel good. I feel very good about our work. But I would say that for the field and school districts and Vermonters out there, we are respecting, I think, very much so, the different ways we deliver education in Vermont. We are respecting local voice. We are respecting an aversion to forced mergers at the state level. However, I personally believe that a foundation formula is in our future, and that what we are providing here is sort of the opportunity for Vermont to think about that future, make the adjustments that they need to make in order to adjust to that future. And I just hope that they take advantage of it. I fear that if not, school districts may be ill-prepared to adjust to whatever future funding happens in Vermont. So anyway, that's my final comment, but mostly filled with deep, deep appreciation for everybody here and their contributions. All right, let's call the roll.
Right. So Representative Brady,
Yes.
Representative Brown, yes. Representative Dobrovich.
No.
Representative Harple,
Yes.
Representative Hunter.
Yeah.
Representative Emily Long,
Yes.
Representative Case Long. Representative McCann,
Yes.
Representative Morgan,
No.
Representative Quimby,
No.
Chair Conlon.
Yes.
Right. 7-0.
All right, folks, we did it. Thank you all very much.
Right.
Now we just have to fill up the agenda for the upcoming days. All right, we will break there. Just hang on one second. While also expressing deep appreciation for our ever
Yeah.
fast-working legislative council.
Made sense.